We trained to strike without hesitation. We were taught that mercy is a choice, not an instinct. But nothing in Themyscira prepared me to watch a god choose to become a weapon. The Watchtower's hum has always been a constant in my life, a steady, low vibration in the bones, like the war drums of Themyscira, heard not from the beach in the heat of a muster, but from high cliffs at night, distant, patient, endless. A sound that meant safety, stability, order. Tonight, it feels wrong. Not off in the obvious way. No alarms, no tremors, no system screaming red. It's subtler. The pitch is too tight. The vibration pulled like a bowstring that's been wound one turn too many, threatening to snap. The harmony that has always soothed me now grates, a whisper of inevitability hiding under its note. The air tastes of copper and ozone, the sterile tang of machine breath that has cycled through 1,000 filters. That taste has been the background of countless quiet nights on this station, when the earth rotated far below and the League planned the next move to keep the peace. But tonight, beneath it, faint enough that I question my own senses, there's another note. Smoke. Gotham smoke. I know that smell. Rain-damp ash clinging to centuries-old stone. The lingering bite in the throat after breathing through a night lit orange by arson and madness. The way the city smelled after the Joker's fires. Not the first time, nor the last. It shouldn't be here, not in orbit. But grief has a way of traveling, and some scents are too stubborn to obey the laws of physics. I've fought alongside gods. I've matched steel against monsters older than the oceans. I've heard the death cries of titans fade under my sword arm. I've felt the weight of entire worlds shift because I refused to yield. None of it has ever made my pulse stumble the way it does now. None of it has made me feel like my armor is just decoration, my weapon's only theater. Because the screen in front of me holds the image of the two men who have defined the shape of my life in this world. Kal, the only man I have ever followed into battle without hesitation, without question. The one whose voice could call me to arms across any distance, whose presence in the sky was as constant as sunlight. He stands with his back to me now, the iconic red of his cape muted under cold white light, so deep it borders on black. That cape has its own history with me. I've smelled it after flight. Warm cotton and open fields, the faint sweetness of cut hay, the grounding scent of trust. I've clutched it in my hands when it was ragged, bloodied, soaked in seawater, and felt hope sharpen rather than dim. But tonight, it hangs from his shoulders like it knows where this path ends, and it doesn't want to go there. Bruce. The man I loved in away language was never built to carry. He waits in the doorway of the chamber, his silhouette familiar in every angle. The set of his shoulders is a language I speak without thinking. Ready, but not afraid. Tense, but not closed. His gloved hand is relaxed at his side, not groping for a weapon, but fully capable of becoming one if needed. That is Bruce's way. Never wasting movement, never letting the enemy see him load the bow before the arrow flies. On Themyscira, we tell the story of Astrea, the goddess who lived among mortals in the age of heroes until their cruelty grew too great and she withdrew to the heavens. My sisters and I were taught it as a cautionary tale, a warning about the fragility of trust between gods and men. I always believed, in my most private certainty, that I would never see such a day. That if the heavens ever turned against us, it would be some distant sky, some foreign god. Not this, not him, but the heavens have chosen a side tonight. And I am standing here above a world that still believes in both of them, powerless to stop what's about to happen. The Watchtower's hum presses against the inside of my skull. The air tastes sharper now, like it's been cut with glass. Somewhere deep in my chest, the first note of morning begins to take shape, and I have not yet seen the worst. Bruce moves. Not much. 3 steps forward, but I feel them in my own body, like an echo. The camera mounted in the corner of the chamber does something strange. It dips, barely a degree, but enough to notice. Like the machine itself has acknowledged his presence. Like even the circuits remember him. I reach for the console's audio feed. The key edges bite into my fingertips through the gauntlets as I press. Access denied. The letters appear in pale type, smaller than they should be, as if even the system is whispering. I try another route, Hal's old backdoor sequence, the one he showed me over pistachios in the mess at 2 a.m., when the tower was full of warmth and laughter. My tongue remembers the salt and green of the shells between my teeth. I enter the string of commands. Access denied. Bruce's mouth moves. I know the shape of that word. Clark. It shouldn't hit me like a blade. It's a simple name, but it carries weight here. A name forged in a different life before the world put crowns and symbols on our heads, before he became Superman. It's not a challenge. It's an invitation to come back. Kal turns. The air in the Watchtower changes. The recyclers push a cold breath across the deck that tastes of clean metal, and the faint static hum of a storm gathering. My skin prickles. His eyes are wrong. Not the violent, burning red I've seen in battle when his anger roars like a sun. No, this is deeper, dimmer. The low ember glow of coals that have been smothered, waiting for someone to remove the ash and give them air. I've seen those eyes when he bent the river of time itself, holding a dying world still in his hands long enough to save it. The taste of that moment returns unbidden. The metallic charge of lightning in the back of my throat, the smell of scorched stone after he was done. Themyscira taught us to sense the instant a duel becomes a war. It's never loud. It's the pause between heartbeats, the way the air thickens, the animals in the hills going still. That instant is here. The temperature drops in the command deck, not by degrees, but by the kind of shift you feel in your bones. My fingertips rest on the edge of the console. The cold moves into them like an invading force. Bruce speaks again. I can't hear it, but I know his cadence, the same deliberate rhythm he used in the field to keep me centered when chaos threatened to pull us apart. His words are steady, but his stance says he's already read the ending. Kal listens without moving, and something in me knows Bruce is right. Kal's hand comes down on Bruce's shoulder. Not a shove, not a grip. Just wait. The kind of weight that turns bone into memory. It's careful, almost gentle, but there's a cruelty in that restraint. The promise that if he chose, the floor beneath Bruce would crater. I've seen those hands cradle a child with the delicacy of holding spun glass. I've seen them pull a nuclear warhead into the upper atmosphere, fingers digging into the steel like bread crust. Now those same hands anchor the man I trust most in the world to the ground, as if to say, "You don't leave until I decide you do." The Watchtower's air system skips a breath. The taste in my mouth thickens to iron, the kind you get from a split lip. I don't realize I'm biting down until my teeth scrape against themselves. Memory intrudes. Another mission, years ago. The 3 of us in a tower rigged with explosives. Bruce carried a boy who smelled of chalk dust and sugar. Kal ripped the roof off without so much as rattling the child's heartbeat. I can still see Bruce passing the boy to me, his gloved hand steady despite the ringing in our ears. That was them. That was us. One frame on the monitor, they stand together, locked in silence. The next, Bruce drops, first to his knees, then forward in the slow inevitability of stone surrendering to gravity. There's a smell that follows broken bone. You never forget it. It's faintly sweet, almost burnt, like sugar left too long over flame. And even here, with vacuum between us, I swear I smell it. My nails dig into the console's edge. The cold from the metal is sharp enough to cut. Themyscira taught us to grieve in motion, to carry the dead with you into the fight, to keep their weight in your arms until you can lay it down in victory or in death. But my arms are empty, and my heart isn't ready. Kal bends. The cape pools around Bruce's body like ink poured into water. Slow, deliberate, curling around him until he's swallowed whole. When his hand comes back out of the armor, it's holding the failsafe. Our failsafe. The one we swore on an unspoken oath, a pact between three people who'd carried the world together, would only ever be used when there was no other choice. It glows faintly, an ember refusing to die in the palm of his hand. And then, he looks at me, not at the camera. Through the camera, through the console, through the hull, through me. My spine stiffens as if a hand has wrapped around it and squeezed. The cold from the viewport reaches my ribs. Diana. It isn't in the air. It's in my bones. I feel my name resonate behind my sternum, a low vibration that settles between heartbeats. He failed. Now you'll see. There's no malice, no rage, just certainty. The kind of certainty you can't bargain with. The kind that makes war inevitable. And in that instant, I hear Zod's last words again, like they've been hiding under my skin since the day Kal killed him. One day you will see they are not worth it. Back then, I thought it was the venom of a dying tyrant. Now I see it's become the gospel of a living God. The feed shatters into static. The smell of it hits me. That electric, dusty scent of an old television warming under the glow of a cathode ray, mixed with the faint tang of overheated wiring. And I remember a night long ago, Kal laughing over a cup of coffee in the Watchtower mess hall, telling me humanity's greatest strength was their refusal to bow. Now he intends to make them. The corridor to the viewport feels longer than it has any right to. I've run the length of it in battle before, bracers sparking as alarms screamed in my ears. I've flown it in zero-G drills, muscles burning as I fought the inertia of the tower's spin. But now every step is a weight. The hum beneath the deck plates isn't the Watchtower's normal heartbeat. It's off, just slightly. The rhythm is wrong, like hearing a war drum beaten by a stranger who doesn't know the song. The soles of my boots map every seam in the plating. Every rivet head clicks against the ball of my foot through the leather. An almost imperceptible tap, tap, tap. My breathing syncs with it without my permission. 4 counts in, 2 held, 4 counts out, 2 held. A Themysciran marching cadence. One we used on the long approaches to sieges where we knew some of us wouldn't return. I don't let myself think about which column I belong in tonight. The corridor bends. The light changes. At first, I think the shift is just the view. But no, it's in the tower itself. The usual cold white deck lamps are bleeding into something else, something touched by green. Not the natural green of life or forest, but the acid hue of something invasive. An undertone of mold and ice. The taste in my mouth changes with it. A metallic bite, faintly bitter, like water that's run too long through copper pipes. I swallow, and it doesn't go away. I reach the viewport. And there he is, Kal-El, hovering above Gotham. a black silhouette against the curve of the earth, his cape dragging in the void, like a torn banner in a wind no one else can feel. There's no movement, no defensive posture, no heat signature flares on the HUD. He's just there. I have seen him in motion more times than I can count, blurring through gunfire, cutting through the roar of collapsing cities, seizing missiles from the air as if plucking fruit from low branches. But stillness from Kal is worse than violence. Stillness means the decision has been made. The city below is a scatter of firelight and shadow. Steam rises from ruptured mains, caught in pockets of orange glow from burning rooftops. I can almost smell it through the glass. Hot metal, wet brick, the acrid stink of electrical fires. Fear, if it had a scent, would be this: thick, clinging, without airflow to carry it away. My comm crackles. Not what you think anymore. Don't try to save him. Stop him. Bruce's voice. I close my eyes as the sound hits. It tastes like black coffee gone lukewarm on a rainy morning. It smells like wet wool and cavestone. The air of that place beneath Gotham, where the world's weight pressed down on us, but never broke us. It feels like the brush of his glove against my arm as we argued over strategy in whispers meant for no one else's ears. Then the calm dies. No click, no static fade, just gone, like it was never there. The lights inside the tower shift further toward that alien sick green. The consoles near me ripple with interference, their crisp graphics fragmenting into jagged glyphs. One word keeps trying to form through the mess, struggling against the corruption. Run. The word repeats, flickering between clarity and ruin. It's the same rhythm as my heartbeat now. I plant my palm against the viewport. It's colder than it should be. Cold enough that the leather of my gauntlet creaks as the fibers stiffen. The cold crawls up my arm, settling in the marrow. Below, Gotham's fires make the air above the city ripple. Heat distortion turning skyscrapers into wavering pillars. He hovers in the middle of it, the eye of a storm that isn't moving but is still pulling the world into it. He's not hunting, not defending. He's waiting. And I know him well enough to know that waiting means inviting. Inviting submission. Inviting acknowledgement. On Themyscira, we have a saying. An oath is a bridge you burn as you cross it, so there is no way back. I can feel the heat of mine turning to ash behind me. I give myself 3 heartbeats. 1, for Bruce, whose last words to me were a warning. 2, for Kal, the friend I knew, the comrade who stood with me when the seas rose. 3, for the League, foolish and fragile and fierce, now scattered to shadows. I open my eyes. There is no grief in me now, only choice. I will not save you, I whisper, my breath fogging the glass between us. I will stop you. The fog fades. My reflection stares back at me, hair pulled tight, jaw set, eyes already past the moment of hesitation. The hum of the tower has changed again. It's no longer a vibration. It's a march. The air tastes of iron. The sword at my back feels heavier, not as burden, but as anchor. I turn from the viewport, and for the first time tonight, my pulse feels steady. I choose to confront him. The choice moves through me like a spear in flight, straight, unbroken, unerring. I don't slow as I cross the command deck. Each door seals behind me, a hiss of finality in my wake. The lights in the corridor lean toward red, though no alarm sounds. The tower feels like it knows where I'm going. The launch bay yawns before me, a cavern of shadow and steel, open-mouthed toward the black. The cold here is older than machines, the kind that tastes of nothing, so pure it strips the tongue bare. My ears pop as the air thins, preparing to yield me to the void. One step onto the lip. The metal hums under my boots, the tower's last heartbeat pressed into my soles. Then I push off. The hum dies instantly. Silence swallows me whole. No air, no sound. Just the pull of earth, patient and relentless, drawing me down. I am an arrow loosed from a bow made of gods and grief. The cape at my back lashes once, then clings tight in the vacuum. My hair, freed from its bindings, whips into a dark banner behind me. The void's cold gnaws at my skin, seeking the heat of a mortal that no longer exists. Kal's shadow grows beneath me. The curve of the earth swells, oceans like spilled ink under moonlight, continents burning faint at the edges. Gotham appears as a bruise in the night, pulsing with fire, where arteries of chaos spill into its streets. Then the atmosphere reaches for me. First, a kiss of resistance against my armor. Then, the bloom of heat, red and hungry, licking along my bracers and greaves. The sky ignites around me, a corona of flame crowning my descent. The Watchtower's cold is burned from my bones. Sound roars back into existence, not from the city, but from the air itself as it rips past me, a hurricane scream pressed into my ears. My body knows how to hold the line against it. My mind forces stillness into the muscle. I smell the ozone first, sharp, electric, the taste of storms. Then the heavier scents arrive in waves, smoke thick with oil, mortar dust, the sweet rot of timber turned to coal. And beneath it, faint but constant, the human smell of fear. Salt, sweat, and something metallic. I remember Bruce once saying that every descent is a choice. Gravity is not. How you meet the ground is. The city surges toward me now, steam billowing from ruptured mains, fire leaping across rooftops. The sound below is a low, continuous moan, steel twisting, walls collapsing, voices calling out and going silent. And above it all, he hovers, waiting. The last of the cold leaves me. The heat of the city claims me. My hand finds the sword's grip. The bridge is burned. There is no way back.